Tonight, tributes flow for a father of 4 killed in a workplace accident on the Eyre Peninsula. And the state government officially opens the world's biggest lithium-ion battery in Jamestown.
This is Southern Cross News with Fraser Goldsworthy.
Good evening. The partner of a man tragically killed in a farming accident on the Eyre Peninsula has expressed her loss of the man she's described as her rock. Michael Nash died when he was loading a silo with grain at a property at Kokata yesterday morning.
A devastating accident that has shaken a small farming community on the Eyre Peninsula. 47-year-old Michael Nash was working on a farm in Kokata, 2 hours north of Port Lincoln, when he was crushed by a grain bin. It's understood Mr. Nash was a contractor on the remote property where the incident took place. Emergency services were called to the scene just before 11 yesterday morning, but sadly he couldn't be saved. Michael leaves behind 4 children and partner Renee Miles, who today took to social media to express her loss. In the post she says, "R.I.P. my love, my hero, I'm so proud of you." Renee, who lives in Minapa with Michael and her children, was in Adelaide at the time of the accident. In a statement to Southern Cross News, Renee says, "I have no idea what I'm going to do, supporting 4 children on my own. He was a legend. He was my rock."
Renee just referred to him as he was sort of the rock, I suppose. A loving father, has left behind 4 young kids, and this GoFundMe page would just do absolute wonders, I think, to help this family.
There's since been an outpouring of support online for Renee, including a GoFundMe page created by family friend Natalie Phillips. It's already raised over $10,000, the community offering heartwarming tributes.
The community is amazing. When situations like this happen, we kind of all know each other, I guess, and we'll just pull together and do whatever we can just to help each other.
Natalie says she hopes to raise enough money for the family to help ease the pressure during this heartbreaking time.
Any little bit in the short term, hopefully it just makes it a little bit easier for them.
Safe Work SA is continuing its investigation into the incident. Jason Kemp, Southern Cross News.
A man has been rushed to hospital after a stabbing in Port Pirie. Police were called to a home in Risdon Park South around 8:30 last night to find the 29-year-old with stab wounds. He was treated for non-life-threatening injuries. The alleged offender, a 20-year-old man, was arrested and charged with aggravated assault causing harm and basic assault. Police believe the men knew each other. He was refused bail and appeared in the Port Pirie Magistrates Court today. Meantime, a 31-year-old Port Pirie man has been arrested following a hit-run crash overnight. Patrols were called to Afford Road just after 4 this morning after a man driving a Mitsubishi sedan allegedly crashed into a fence and fled the scene. Officers then tracked the driver down a short time later. He was breath tested where it's alleged he returned a blood alcohol reading almost 5 times the legal limit. He's been charged with a raft of offences. His car has been impounded for 28 days and he's lost his licence for a year. He was refused bail and appeared in court today. Police are investigating an arson attack on a shed in Port Lincoln. Just before 6 this morning, crews were called to the fire on Boston Street. When they arrived, the blaze had been extinguished, only causing minor damage to a door. Crews spent the morning investigating where they suspect it was deliberately lit. Anyone with information is urged to come forward. Port Augusta's SES has reported a busy night after wild weather lashed parts of the state. Volunteers responded to a fallen tree on Crichton Drive and had call-outs as floodwaters threatened the Naval Cadet Unit. It's urging residents to clean their gutters ahead of more wet weather forecast in the coming days. It says blocked gutters and downpipes are the leading cause of damage, allowing stormwater to flow back into the roof cavity of a home. Well, South Australia is now home to the world's largest lithium-ion battery. Today, the facility located at the Hornsdale Power Reserve site in Jamestown was officially switched on, where it'll act as a safety net for the state's power supply. Rachel Nell was there.
The world's largest lithium-ion battery is not only leading South Australia, but leading the world. The state government says it's confident this battery is a game changer and that South Australia won't be left in the dark this summer.
This isn't just a South Australian achievement, it's a national achievement. And we stand tall on the world stage exercising the function of leadership in relation to renewable energy. And we're very proud of it, and the nation should be proud of it.
The 100-megawatt battery is now part of Neoen's 99-turbine Hornsdale wind farm. Taxpayers will foot the bill, an estimated cost upwards of $50 million over the next decade. The mammoth build was also finished ahead of schedule. Elon Musk, the chief of Tesla, the company behind the PowerPack battery technology used in the project, declared it would be built within 100 days or it'd be free. The construction phase has also put money back into the pockets of local communities, much to the delight of the local mayor.
Just in this construction phase, the flow-on effect would be huge. I wouldn't like to put a figure on it, but for some of the local businesses, Jamestown, Laura, Gladstone and around our council area, it's been very, very good.
In the event of a blackout, the facility will have the capacity to power 30,000 homes for up to an hour. The government claims Jamestown will be the first place in the nation to provide clean and affordable wind energy 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, bringing South Australia to the forefront of global energy technology.
That South Australia is a jurisdiction that is prepared to be open to innovators. That's a massive message.
The state government now promising to deliver more renewable energy projects.
The sorts of projects like this you could expect to see rolling out of the Renewable Technology Fund.
We're looking at a number of wind and solar projects, and we're hopefully going to push this forward.
The momentous occasion now a major chapter in the history book of the small town of Jamestown.
Jamestown is very keen to send that message to the rest of the world that this is the place where it happened.
Rachel Nell, Southern Cross News.
In the news ahead, a truck driver fined over this near miss on the highway between Whyalla and Port Augusta. Details next. A man caught on camera behind the wheel of a truck while performing a dangerous overtaking manoeuvre near Port Augusta has been fined $1,000 over the incident. 45-year-old Jason Bartlett pleaded guilty to one count of driving in a reckless or dangerous manner in the Mount Gambier Magistrates Court. Bartlett was temporarily stood down from his position as a truck driver with Garden Grove at the time. He's also lost his licence for 15 months. Businesses along Port Lincoln's foreshore are seeking permission for the area's dry zone to be relaxed for certain events in a bid to promote the region for holidaymakers.
Hoping that a lot of restaurants and a lot of businesses will set up little wine tastings or a pop-up oyster bar or something like that on the foreshore when these people arrive.
The Port Lincoln Council is now in negotiations to increase exemptions for the zone next year.
We've started the process of going to the Liquor Licensing Commission and saying we would like to extend those exemptions so that Council could decide more readily and more easily when we will allow exemptions to the dry zone.
Drinking on the foreshore is already permitted for the Tunarama Festival and the Long Lunch. Whyalla Council is warning those who continue to flout the closure of the jetty will be prosecuted. The council chief says the signs are in place for a reason and trespassers could be seriously injured.
Danger signs surround the precarious structure, warning people to stay clear of our jetty. Both the supporting pylons and planks along the walkway are rotting away. Yet council says people are willing to risk their lives to climb onto it, with officials concerned someone could be injured.
I would really like to ask the community to respect these barriers at this point in time. They are there for the community's safety.
Pictures have emerged showing a number of people floating the warning signs, climbing over rocks and fencing to get onto the jetty. Mr. Cowley says too many see it as just another challenge.
You have their best interests at heart, and I can assure you that we'll be pushing the delivery of the new jetty, the timeframes as fast as we can, so that the public can get back on this jetty.
Council will be launching an information campaign to encourage people to stay away while it's closed, but it's not holding back.
That's being constructed at the minute to make it very clear that this is a no-go zone. And if people are on there and we get the opportunity, they will be prosecuted.
John Hunt, Southern Cross News.
Legislation introduced to State Parliament for better protections for RFDS workers has now passed the House of Assembly. Member for Stewart Dan Van Holst Pelican, who spearheaded the bill, says RFDS workers deserve the same level of legal protection available to other emergency services workers and medical staff. Under the proposal, offences against RFDS workers could be considered aggravated assault, and a spitting or biting offender would be required to take a blood test. Mr Van Holst Pelican is urging the state government to now amend the proposed legislation. Sanjeev Gupta says the city of Whyalla has the potential to expand its population to 80,000 residents. The Mayor and a Chamber of Commerce have cautiously welcomed the comments from the steelworks' new owner, saying while the figure would take years to reach, they're impressed by his ambition.
The man of steel is now also the man with a plan, and a big one at that. In an interview this week, Mr Gupta said with strong infrastructure, Whyalla could support a population as high as 80,000.
Go from 23,000 to 70,000. It will take many years, many companies, but it's a possibility and we can look forward to it.
Whyalla is home to over 20,000 people, but was designed in the 1970s to support over 60,000 people. Why we're unlikely to get that big, the Mayor is impressed at his bold point of view.
For half of what's been talked about happens, this is going to be great for our community. I think Mr Gupta certainly has his heart in our community.
Chamber of Commerce President Ron Hay also believes he's sending another message. He says Whyalla needs to think diversification rather than relying on the steelworks.
We cannot do it by letting, or maybe saying that one person can do this alone. This has to be a community program.
He also says economic and population growth will only come to Whyalla if it embraces other industries.
What else we can bring here, it's what else we can rely on to move forward and keep our community in a position where it's sustainable.
John Hunt, Southern Cross News.
Stay with us. After the break, rev heads across Port Augusta gear up to spread some Christmas cheer. That's next. Motorcyclists from around the region will take to the streets of Port Augusta tomorrow for the annual Toy Run. The ride will pick up toys and gifts around town in a bid to bring some Christmas cheer to children in need.
Pride in not only their motorbikes but in bringing some joy to kids.
I've got a Yamaha XJR 1300, so I usually spend a couple of hours cleaning and polishing that before the toy run, make sure it's all good.
Tomorrow the streets of Port Augusta will be lined with rev heads for the annual Toy Run hosted by the Saltbush Motorcycle Club.
It's not a road bike or a dirt bike or any other faction of the motorcycling community. We're all in there together, all having a bit of fun.
The event is a 34-year-long Port Augusta tradition.
Just with the way that the community gets into it, and you see people out and the kids out on the roads watching you go by. And being able to collect the toys and everything like that for to help the needed out.
Last year, nearly 600 toys were donated to the local salvos. Some donations so generous, participants needed a helping hand.
We have a trailer following the event, and the bigger stuff has to go in that, otherwise it'd be mayhem.
Makes the motorcycle thing look a bit more better, when you're helping the communities out.
The child gets something, puts a smile on their face. The parents look as though they've been blessed by them receiving something, and people in our community are the ones that donated, so it's a win-win for everybody.
The event will kick off on the pastoral lawns tomorrow morning.
I'd like to encourage every motorcyclist to get out there and join us.
Amelia Simpson, Southern Cross News.
Well, as you saw there, the festive season is well and truly underway across our region. The community has also worked tirelessly to bring some holiday spirit by showing off the fruits of their labour at the annual Christmas Tree Festival in Port Pirie.
A 59-year-old tradition.
It's a way for the community to come together and share something special creatively around Christmas.
This year we're blessed to have 48 trees. There are different categories. There are the kindies, the schools, the groups, individuals.
The Christmas tree exhibition showcasing the artistic works of young locals.
Oh, the kids really love it. They get in here and have a look at the decorations.
That there's lots of colours and all students had their time together and built them with friendship and love.
The festival's also celebrating the gift of giving, with donation trees available for the less fortunate.
Got a thing called a giving tree, where people come along and leave food for people who need food over Christmas, and we've also got a toy tree this year, where people can leave toys for those who might not get anything this year.
The money raised going straight back into helping the local community.
Any money raised from this event goes to community funds. It's been a long tradition that this festival has been in Port Pirie, and we would like to continue.
But the Christmas displays only open for 2 more days, wrapping up on Saturday afternoon. Rachel Nell, Southern Cross News.
Very nice. And just before we go to the weather, just to let you know, there are no cricket tips this week due to the test in Adelaide. Weather time now with Abby Donaldson. And Abby, it seems relief is on the way from this wild weather.
Yes, it is, Fraser. After a rainy and stormy start to summer, we should see those unsettled skies ease up over the weekend and into next week. I'll have all the details next. Welcome back. Taking a look at the weather for the first day of summer. Well, it definitely didn't look and feel like summer today, as wet and stormy weather continued to sweep across South Australia and into Victoria. There was some heavy rainfall for Port Augusta and Whyalla, with temps dropping to the low 20s. More showers to the west, but not as heavy. Port Lincoln hitting a cool max of just 19 degrees. To the satellite now, and that thick cloud stretching across the south of South Australia is generating an area of showers and thunderstorms. Cloud in the centre of the state associated with the same trough is generating a few storms, but skies are clearer in the north. Taking a look at the Gulf waters for your Saturday, strong south to southwesterly winds between 20 and 30 knots again, seas at 2.5 metres with a south-southwesterly swell, so take care there. And sunrise is just after 6 with sunset at 8:15. A chance of showers for all centres tomorrow, but the rain won't be nearly as heavy as we've been experiencing. Those temps will remain quite cool, however. Port Augusta is heading for just 21 degrees, and there's a chance of a thunderstorm on and east of the ranges in the early morning. Some light showers for the west, with Port Lincoln and Coffin Bay heading for a top of 21. Showers easing in Port Pirie, 21 the top there, but we could see up to 15 millimetres of rain in Clare, just 17 the top. So to the rest of the weekend and beyond, temps will continue to hover around the high teens and low 20s for the lower EP, but those showers will clear for the start of the working week. Fine and 21 the top for Monday in Port Lincoln and Woodner, but we could see some more light showers on Tuesday for Cleve. And further up the Gulf, those showers are going to continue for longer into the working week. Rain will ease tomorrow and over the coming days in Whyalla though, before it finds up to a 23-degree day on Tuesday. A similar story in Port Augusta, with light scattered showers predicted before a lovely 25-degree day on Tuesday, and the same for Kadina, but slightly cooler, 23 the top there. And lastly, showers will clear over the weekend to a lovely day on Tuesday in Port Pirie and Clare, and that rain will go away sooner in Broken Hill, with the weather to fine up from Sunday as the mercury rises to 24 degrees by Tuesday. So after a wet start to summer, Fraser, conditions are expected to completely clear by the middle of next week.
That's good news. Thanks, Abby. And that's Southern Cross News for the working week. Thanks for your company. Enjoy your evening and your weekend. Good night.